What's good, y'all? Wave Magnetic here again with another tutorial. And today I'm going to talk about how to get your kick drums sounding right. And kind of a little bit with your snares too. Just how to get your drums popping, you know what I mean? And it's really all about EQ and compression and how the length of your samples, that's very important, because if your kick drum is too long, it's going to clash with your bass no matter what you do. It's just not going to work. All right, so let's get into it. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the track, just the drums, what they sound like after I mix them, and then I'll take everything off and then you'll hear what it sounds like before. So this is what it sounds like, the finished product of the drums. Nice. Okay. So now this is what it sounded like before I mixed it. Night and day, right? Night and day. All right. So this is really simple. When you're trying to get your drums together, when you're trying to get your kick in particular, okay? The first thing is you want to make sure that the length is good, okay? Now, there's a few ways of doing it. In Ableton, it's really simple. If you just double click on here, on the clip, okay? And where it says beats right here, it says warp. Make sure you have the warp setting on and make sure that it's the right tempo, okay? And then you click beats. And right here where you have this little button, just make it so that it's the first one that goes like that. And now, if I adjust this number here, it'll make the drum shorter. Check it out. I'm gonna just listen to the drum by itself, and I'm gonna mess with the knob. Now that is dope right there. Okay, that makes it so that you can shorten your kicks without having to use any extra plugins. Now, I made this kick from scratch, so I don't need to do any of that. But if you have a long kick, you want to make sure that your kicks, you see how long my kick is right here. This line right here is a 16th note. That's the next 16th, 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 okay? If your song is at, I would say 70 BPM all the way up to about 120-ish, around 120. You don't really want your kick drum to be longer than a 16th note. Okay, it'll get in the way. You know what I mean? If the song is faster than that, you might be able to get away with an 8th note, just because it's like halftime. But if the song is really slow, you might be able to get away with a longer kick. It's really dependent. But if it's a punchy song, kind of an upbeat song, you want a short kick drum, and you want it to be no longer than a 16th note. If you see, the end of my kick is less than this 16th note. Right? This is where the 16th note line is. It ends right here, okay? So, but you don't want to be too short. You don't want to stop around here. You want to stop somewhere in this area right here, okay? And you see mine does right here, okay? So you just want to make sure you do that. You can do that with a transit shaper or with Ableton's clip editing thing, all right? So the next thing here is how you EQ and compress your drums, okay? So first thing I do when I have a kick drum is I compress it, okay? So let me turn the EQ off, and I'll turn that off too. These are the filters. So I compress it. Now what I'm looking for is about 6 dB of compression. It'll show up right here, right? So watch this. Right there, okay? So I always have my ratio around 4-ish, 4 to 5. And then I have my release set to the fastest. So that's 100 milliseconds. Okay. And you don't want it to be too long, but you don't want it to be too short. So 100 milliseconds is a good length. If you are trying to shorten your kick drum, sometimes if you lengthen this, it'll make the kick drum sound shorter. Check it out. You see, it made the kick drum kind of sit in the back, at least the tail end of it, right? But I didn't want that. I wanted it to be more up front, okay? Then the next thing is EQ wise. Now, I know everybody's used to the graphic EQs. I'll get to how to do that, but this is what I use. I use the SSL channel strip for a lot of my stuff. These emulations of vintage gear work really well, and there's a reason why it's like really good. People buy this stuff for a reason. Okay, so I'll show you with this, and I'll show you with the Ableton stock stuff. So I always EQ around 110 ish. Okay, what did I have here? Yeah, around 110. Okay, and then I boosted that up 4 dB. Okay. And then the next thing is you cut in an area that is like a honky area. A lot of times around 500 hertz. If you see, this is 482. So around 500, maybe 300 to 500 hertz. Depends on the kick drum. You want to cut that. Otherwise, your kick drum can be really, really honky, or sometimes it could just be too out front. So once you get your bottom end right, you want to get this right so that you don't want it to be too forward, but you want to get the bottom end that you're looking for, okay? And then this right here is the high frequency where you hear the click of the kick drum, okay? That's at 2000, okay? Just a little bit, all right? So let's hear before and after. See, it's like almost night and day, right? Now, you can do this with the Ableton stock plugins too, okay? So check it out. I'm going to do it with the Ableton stock plugins real quick. So I like the glue compressor, okay? Glue compressor is dope. You take this, you put it up to 30, move this down to 1, leave this at 4, okay? Now, again, I'm going to look for 6 dB of compression. Sounds good. Let me get some makeup gain action in here. Sounds good. Now I'm going to get the EQ8 in here. And I'm going to just boost it the same areas. All right, check it out. There you go. Now let's listen to this before and after. Sounds good, right? Now let's compare the two, okay? Let's see what the difference is between the SSL and that. Let's see here. So There we go. That's pretty similar, okay? So you can do it with the SSL, you can do it with the glue compressor. They all sound different. That's why they got different plugins, okay? But you can do it with any one of them. But the main thing is to get your bottom end right, okay? You get this high end right, and then you cut a little bit of the mids, and you get your compression right here, okay? That makes it snappy. The next thing is that you want to get your snare right, and it's almost the exact same thing, okay? Look, you take it and you compress. I'm going to look for 6 dB of compression here. I cut up to 130 hertz and look, the 6 dB of compression. And then all I want to do now with the EQ is give me a little high end on it, okay? So let's listen to what it sounds like with just the compression on and off. So let's just hear what it sounds like with the compression on and off. All right, this time I actually got 3 dB of compression on that one. I guess that's what it needed. Oh, so now what I did was I EQ. So here's one of the cool things that works when it comes to snare drums. I have this set so that the EQ goes into the compression, okay? So if you EQ into the compressor is going to hold back a lot of the frequencies that sound like crap, okay? So I know a lot of times some people will take a notch filter and they will EQ out certain frequencies that are inside of a sound to try and clean it up. Now, you can do that. But one of the things that I found that makes my life a million times easier is if I take my snare drum and certain other things too, and I just set it so that the EQ comes before the compressor. So now this is set up so that every time I turn this knob, this is EQing into this compressor. So now I boost up here and I boost up here to get what I'm looking for. And I get my bottom end together, and then it just makes it so that I get the sound I'm looking for a lot easier. Check it out. So really it's just boosting a little bit of 8K, which gives you that sizzle. Check it. All right, so then I got a little 3K because it felt like it needed a little bit there. All right, and then the bottom end, I put it at 215. Check it. See that? Now it sounds like a really good snare drum. And when you put it together, it sounds like this. Cool. So now I'm gonna let you hear a little bit of what it sounds like in the whole mix. Okay. This is a new song that I'm coming out with pretty soon that I collaborated with Sandra Small. This is just a little bit of it. So yeah, it's coming out later on. So just keep watching. Check this out. Cool. So that there is how you get your drums to sound right, how you get that right EQ and compression on your kicks and snares so that your songs are popping. All right, y'all. If you enjoyed the video, you learned something new, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you know the next time that I put out a video. And I will see y'all later. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you're watching on YouTube, just click the subscribe button below and the notification bell so you'll know when next time I have a new video. And if you're on Facebook, click the like button and also click under follow. Go to see first so that you'll always see when I do my live streams and all my other content. That way, you never miss anything I have coming out, and we can become friends. So, all right, see ya.